He's been a rugby player, frontman, a reality show judge, and a solo artist, and he's still only a young man. Great interest in him coming into the studio. Men and ladies alike asking me, is he really coming in, and can we meet him? Bressie is with us. Bressie, you mightn't get out here alive, you know that, don't you?
That's alright with me.
I've been following some of the stuff on Twitter. There is extreme interest in you.
I don't know, I kind of, for the amount of crap I talk on Twitter, I'm surprised. I do like, I see my Twitter's because my friends don't listen to me anymore, so I have to get rid of it somehow. Yeah. So I put it on that, and you know,
a lot of female interest in you.
Oh, I don't know. It's kind of, I think that's just the way things have gone with if you're a musician or you're on TV, it's a mad world.
Look, I'll break this to you gently. There are loads of musicians on TV and they're not getting the kind of attention you're getting, Bressie. All right, be very clear about this.
Oh, I don't know.
A lot of love for you.
But yeah, I don't know. I think with the Twitter thing, man, Twitter's mad. It's just, the whole, I think people are going to be studying it in 10 years' time. It scares me on one hand, and I think it's brilliant on the other hand. But it's, you know, you get the whole, from every nice thing you get a really horrible thing.
You have to be very careful about that. Do you get bad stuff?
Every now and again, but you got to look at who's writing it. You know, I'm pretty thick-skinned at this stage.
It's very hurtful.
Some of it I've seen, like some people, that it's not just to me personally, but I think so. Like, you really wonder what some people be at with their lives. You know, sitting there tearing into people, and
where the bile comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. I've seen people massively affected by it and get really down, and I think that's almost fuel for these people. So you just don't react. That's the key.
Oh well, well-known TV presenter who closed his account on the strength of the level of some stuff. No,
they get personal. If they get personal, the thing is, one guy actually did to me, and he got massively personal. And I'm quite one of those type of people who's like, if family stuff, you bring that into it, that kind of affects me. And a guy said something to me, and it was quite hurtful and very personal about my family. And I went down to, it was from Carlo, the guy who said it, and I said, I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of saying things to people's faces, so I'll drive down to Carlo tomorrow, 12 o'clock, and I'll meet you outside the Foundry, and you can say it to me. And so I drove down, completely principled, and I took a picture of myself outside the Foundry 12. I guess who didn't turn up? So 99% of these people are complete cowards, But anyway, that's life.
God. I've followed your music career with great interest, because I think in some ways, you've and the blizzards arrived when it was just changing. Somebody said that everything the internet touches, it destroys, and the music industry, you could kind of say the same of. And the Blizzards, 2 great albums. And given I was mentioning your sporting career, the Blizzards was the love of your life, wasn't it?
Music was. And I think the funny thing is, I did a talk on Hot Press there, it was this year at the exhibition, and it was about legally downloading and stuff. And unfortunately, when you talk about it, people have this perception of musicians that once you're on radio or once you're on TV or whatever, that you're making money and you're able to survive and you're this. It couldn't be further from the truth. And we were sitting there, and on one hand was 2 girls there who's saying, they're pro illegal download and think it's fine and shouldn't regulate the internet, which I agree with to a point. But I'm like, well, you just told me you were fans of the Blizzards. I tell you exactly why we had to stop playing. It's because 2 of the guys had kids, and we couldn't make money. We couldn't actually survive. They couldn't bring up their children, so they had to get other jobs. So that's the human side of illegal download. Of course, it affects. It mightn't affect Kings of Leon or multi-million-pound touring bands like that, but it does massively hurt
the grassroots.
And it broke my heart having to walk away from my best mates. Like,
particularly having put 2 albums in, you're just getting better and better. R.E.M. were 7 albums before they really got
it takes time to figure out what you want to do and what direction you want to go in the studio. And I know at this stage, like, people talk about breaking UK and breaking America. We never went out with that mindset. We just felt for every album that we did, we were getting better at it, and we were learning our craft and our trade but more and more, and we wanted to do more records. But the problem being, as I said, the guys had kids, and I remember sitting down and that the first time that came up, and we were sitting in a pub, and I'm every hair in the back of my neck stood up and said, this is the reality of what we're going through. We're going to have to call it a day. And at the end of the day, I was loving getting into the songwriting world and working with other people in studio, and that's why I obviously went off to London and started working there. It was heartbreaking. It really was. I think people need to understand that it wasn't a decision anyone wanted to make. It's the reality of the music business, and I do not want to come across like one of those musicians. I've got a brilliant job.
It's not making things easier. And it's funny enough, the fans are the ones also suffering, because they're not getting the same range of bands and quality music that they would get otherwise. Unfortunately, the guys in your band are now not making music, which is awful.
Their love, and the thing about it is, people often blame record labels for this, and at the end of the day, music, on the industry. It's always been a business in terms of the music industry. To us, it's a passion and we love it, but there is another side of it. So people like record labels, it's not their fault either. You know, it's survival of the fittest.
You've done something though that I think a lot of people would love to do, and that's heading over and you know, giving it a go as a songwriter. What's that been like? That's
been massively difficult as well. I think when I first came over, I went over to London, I thought this was going to be okay and easy, and I was kind of in a point where I was writing every day, and it was coming up with like these great pop songs that I didn't necessarily think would fit with me, and I just thought it'd be as easy as pitching to JLS and pitching to this and pitching, and then we'll get these cuts. It doesn't work like that either. It is quite a political game in terms of pop writing, and you have to be in with certain people, you have to create a certain name, or you have to have that big hit. So it's difficult. So what I decided to do was, my management company, 19, started a record label called Sign of the Times, which is it's affiliated to Sony. I suppose it's an independent type of label, and I thought then development was more my thing. Finding an act you actually thought needs a bit of work in terms of their stagecraft, their songwriting, even their headspace of becoming a musician, because there's so much to being in a band, so much more to being in a band than writing music. You have to have your head right. You have to know how to perform on stage. You have to know how to work with media and stuff. So it was all this side of it. So we got into development, and I much more enjoy it. It's much more fruitful, and you might work 3 years with someone and nothing happens. And
you're really having to think on your feet, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just, but like that's the thing. And I got into television, I suppose, by I wouldn't say default, but the opportunity came up, and I was like, I've been working for 2 years in terms of production, vocal production especially, which I'm obsessed with. I'm obsessed with singers and how it works and how the mentality of singing works in studio. Yeah, I think it's just, you know, all the other things, drums and mic and guitar amps and sonics and stuff, I think that's great, and I like that part of it, but the real thing that gets me is the singer. And I think I've never sold myself as a brilliant singer, and that's not what I'm trying to do. It's more the going in with other singers and seeing, you know, when you put a pair of headphones on in the studio and you start recording, it's a different world.
Because that's the most unique thing for me anyway, on a record, is the singer.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what really gives an identity, a DNA thing to a record that comes from the singer, so I can understand.
Yeah, well, guitars, you know, I love guitars, and I love sitting there and getting great sounds and stuff, but I think in today's age as well, not only has the industry changed, but production has changed. There's people making records in a week because they have to, because if you don't do it, they'll go, well, we'll get someone else to do it. So records do not sound good anymore. So the only thing that you can stand out with on the record, if you're making a record on your Apple and your Mac and you're just programming everything, the only thing that you can stand out is that vocal. And even in the voice, the two singers that I really went with from scratch were the ones that I felt were the ones who have the most unique recording voice.
They're the other side of it now. They're the more modern side of the music business, where so much emphasis is on reality TV, and you know, your lad won, didn't he? Pat
won,
How's he going to get on, do you think?
Pat's really good. I think that's the other side of it. As I said, Pat, you've won the show. The big issue which you often find with reality music shows is the person who wins is not prepared to go out into the big bad world. They've won their show. They know they're good singers. There's much more to it. There is you've got to write the songs. You've got to be part of those songs. I think. So he went over to Metrophonic, which is a world-renowned studio in London. He sat with some of the best writers in London, and myself and Danny from the Coronas wrote with them. We wrote some tracks on the album, but we took quite a while. We could have easily put that out. That could have been easily put out 2 months after the show. An album of covers, you know. Let's put it out.
The end of it.
It could have been it, and I think he's worth a lot more than that. I really do, and I bought into Pat the minute I heard him.
All right.
And the record's pretty much finished now. So
great. Look forward to it. Tomorrow night, what's it going to be? I mean, is it full band?
It's full band, yeah. It's all. It's they're all over in London. They all just flew in today, so we're down in Limerick tonight in the Big Top. So I'm off down there.
Is this your favourite bit of it? Is it
gigging? Yeah, I mean, it's, you know yourself with gigging. Gigging's brilliant when you're doing it sporadically. It can get quite tiring when you're in 30 gigs in a row, and by the end of it, you're ready. You're literally ready to die. I love doing like this. I've had 2 weeks off. I'm coming back to do my 2 last shows on this album, and then I'm going back to start my second record, which is, making a record's a tough thing to do, and I'm looking forward to it, but it's heads down.
What you want to do. Are you doing The Voice again this year?
Oh, I will, yeah. I think so.
Good man. Look forward to seeing you on the screen.